police came within like half an hour.
Я хочу, чтобы приговорили их 10 лет в тюрьме. У меня было 2 бомжа или 3, и они хотели...
At homeless people.
Ну, у меня, рядом со мной. Здравствуйте, ребята. Я Бенджамин, я из Лондона.
And I'm Katerina from Новосибирск.
И мы преподаватели английского языка здесь, в Big Apple School в Новосибирске. И мы сегодня будем обсуждать тему экстренных служб. Давайте начнем.
So, Benjamin, since we're talking today about emergency services, I suggest that we start talking with police. So tell me, have you ever had to call the police? And if so, what happened?
Если честно, я ни разу не вызвал полицию. Я чуть-чуть боюсь этого. Не боюсь, но, может быть, проблемы с шайками. Нет, я шучу. Ну, да, я никогда не вызвал полицию. Если честно, недавно я хотел вызвать. У меня соседи...
I shouldn't be so happy asking this. Sorry. Oh, what happened?
Соседи у меня очень шумные. Я преподаватель, и я работаю через Zoom или через интернет. И невозможно проводить уроки, если там очень много шума. И мои соседи просто ужасные. Они не уважают меня. Всегда есть тусовки. Всегда есть сверла какие-то. Ремонты проводят. Я не знаю, здесь возможно вызвать полицию, если соседи шумеют. Если честно, это было в полдня.
This was the look of judgment, you know? Like, come on.
Ну, тоже бывает ночью, что они сильно шумеют. И да, это сложно засыпать.
I can understand.
Какие здесь законы?
Well, when it comes to noise, legally people are allowed to make noise from 9 a.m., 8 a.m. actually, from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. on a weekday.
Это зависит от города, да?
No, it doesn't.
Я читал где-то, что в Москве есть другие законы, и что здесь есть... Да,
I'm not sure about that, I have to say. But in Novosibirsk, I know it's like from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. on a weekday, and then at the weekend, it's from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. as well. But I actually have a story. I actually once called the police in this situation. It was not midday, of course, so, you know, but usually when my neighbors have some sort of a party, you know, some sort of a gathering, if it's until like 11 p.m. or midnight, I don't care. Like, okay, we're all people. Sometimes we want to have fun, you know, have a party.
Это понятно, да, бывают.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. But in that case, it was 1 a.m. I was like, oh, okay, it's a party, you know, let them have some fun. 2 a.m. and I already tried to go to sleep, and I just couldn't because it was so loud. So what I did in that situation first, I just banged on their wall, you know, like with fists, like, shut up. Nothing happened. I think they didn't even hear me, really. So, and since the following day was Monday, so I needed to go to work, so I really wanted to sleep. So I decided to give it a go, and I had to call the police, the first time ever in my entire life, thank God. And I said, look, there are neighbors, they're noisy. So the police came within like half an hour. They just, you know, knocked on their door. Well, didn't knock.
Это было как дежурная часть, или это были как прям...
No. Come on. So, yeah, and they just, you know, asked the neighbors to be quiet. And then they asked me, like, do you want to, like, write some sort of a statement? And I'm like, no. As long as they're quiet, thank you very much. So, yeah, and I could hear my neighbors just, you know, leave their home.
Можно было просто дать как устные претензии.
Yeah, absolutely.
Устные заявления, да.
So, and yeah, that was just the warning, and everything went really quiet after that, so I was really thankful.
Никого не задержали?
No, of course not. I had no, you know, complaints rather than the noise, so they went quiet. I was happy.
Да, я хочу, чтобы полицию задержали моих соседей.
Benjamin, don't be so rude. Come
Это было бы очень смешно увидеть. Столько дней с сверлами, с молотками.
So when you buy an apartment or something and you do a renovation, you wouldn't be happy if police came, to you and said like, oh, you know what, proceed with us. Come
Я
on.
хочу, чтобы приговорили их 10 лет в тюрьме. Да.
Guys, you just have to tell something to him. Sorry. But have you ever had to call the police on something more serious?
Я жил в Вегасе, там, может быть, гетто, там это опасный район, я жил в опасном районе, там, да, к сожалению, много бомжей и они наркоманы.
I'm sorry, I couldn't just not smile, at that, because Benjamin and his stories about homeless people, we've had like
Я не знал,
plenty.
почему у меня такая одержимость с бомжами,
Following
но
him.
просто
Really?
это моя жизнь.
So, but you were saying, so Las Vegas, ghetto.
Ну да, я иногда оставил свои одежды высушить в крыльце, там, в моей квартире. И иногда воровали, украли свои кроссовки и другие одежды. Да.
So you called the police on that?
Это не было как прям 911, 911, это номер экстренных служб в США. Ну, я просто задал заявление. Эй, у меня были классные кроссовки. И, да.
I actually want to tell a story about, police and what is happening right now. Because let's say nowadays, if you are in some of the states, for example, the state of California, and for example, you get robbed or you get mugged and you call the police and say, hey, I've been mugged, somebody stole, let's say, my wallet. Now, in this current moment, the police will ask you, how much was it?
Да, зависит, если сумма, это стоимость, это выше $1000, то есть они...
Then they will come. But if it's less, they're not even coming anymore. That's it.
Да, это проблема для владельцев супермаркетов. Да. Там много кражи в магазинах.
And I think you mentioned that you also had to call police in London.
Да, в Лондоне, да. Я катался на велике на работу, и там я увидел девушку, и там было два парня, и они ограбили ее ножом. И это было ужас.
So this is what would be called mugging.
Mugging, да,
in English. So mugging, when somebody threatens you with a knife, something else.
Да, ограбление на улицах.
What do you want? Your wallet, give it.
So, and did the police come?
Да, я хотел за ними кататься на велике, чтобы, их застать, это было очень опасно, естественно, и полиция, они мне посоветовали не следить за ними, и просто, ничего не смогли сделать, к сожалению, да.
Sometimes that happens too. So yeah, usually when it comes to police, what could be possible reasons for us to call? So it could be mugging, could be theft. Theft is when somebody just steals something from your bag without you noticing. So no guns, no, knives or anything like that.
Да, если кто-то, например, водит машину в нетрезвом виде.
What is it? DUI?
DUI, да.
Driving under influence.
Да, точно, да. И в других штатах может быть DWI, driving with influence.
Driving with,
вообще это DUI. Много разных
Oh yeah, it's like, it could be a whole list of 100 different reasons to call police. Let's just hope that you guys will never have to do that.
О, кстати, я забыл. У меня рассказ. В Вегасе у меня был сосед, и, очень спокойный человек, и он...
Usually that's what they say in, crime documentaries. That was a very calm man. Nobody would expect anything from him.
Он не был преступником, но он как вынес мусор в помойку. Это было в 11 часов вечера. И там, подошли к ним два как грабители и навели на него дробовик и следили за ним прямо в его квартиру. И ему пришлось отдать все драгоценные вещи, и это было ужас. И я был,
It's a very
я спал, к
traumatic
сожалению.
experience.
Да, и он сразу говорил, Я не буду вызвать полицию, просто куплю винтовик и дробовик. И...
This is usually the response in the US. But we can just say, let's hope that you guys will never have to call the police, so stay safe.
Так, мы только что обсуждали полицию. Ну, давай перейдем на пожарные. И в США это номер 911, и в Англии это 999. В России это что?
112.
112, да, точно. И в Европе это 112, я думаю. Ну, ты когда-нибудь вызвала как пожарная?
I wish I could say no, but I did. As Benjamin said, so in the US you call 911, and only then you tell who exactly you need.
Да, здесь есть отдельные номера.
Exactly.
Да.
So in Russia and in the UK as well, you call, if you need police, you call one number, you need the ambulance, you call
Может,
another
в принципе,
number.
999, и это все, как в США, там есть как коммутатор, что ли, кто
I do not know what they're called actually, but yeah. But yeah, I did have to call 911 twice in my life. And that was a very fun experience, I should say. Well, it was not, but so the first story, I love telling that because that was in January 2018, and that was the coldest winter in Massachusetts within the last 100 years.
Winter is coming.
And my landlord, God bless his soul, turned down the thermostat, so you know, this device which controls the temperature, to 15 or like 16 degrees Celsius in the coldest winter.
И что это было по Фаренгейту?
Oh gee, 65?
Да, это холодно,
like 65 Fahrenheit, I think. And the thing is that nobody had been living in the house for the whole month. So when I came back from holiday, because I went on holiday that year, I went to the bathroom and there was a sheet of ice in my bathtub. So, and then since I had been traveling for 3 weeks, I needed to start a washing machine.
Как образовался лед там?
Well, in
в
my
ванной?
bathroom, there's no radiator, there's nothing. So basically, it's just the bathroom, and the only thing separating it from the street is, you know, a window. That's it. So it was really cold over there. But that's not the point. You know, you think that was the problem. That was not the problem.
Я бы вызвал полицию.
No, come on. But then I started a washing machine, you know, and it was running. Everything was fine. And then half an hour later, I heard a very loud splash. I ran downstairs to the basement and I saw, you know, just a huge fountain, you know, just water fountaineering over there. Of course, I was panicking.
Это было из-за как водостока или сливного отверстия или что?
Well, you know, behind the washing machine, we had like 2 huge pipes going up. So, and the water was just splashing out of them. So what I did was first I called my landlord. I was like, Charlie, we have a problem. I have probably a burst pipe, you know, like water is just splashing everywhere. And he said, I'm sure that's not a big deal. He said, you know, you can just fix it. I cannot bloody fix it. Like there's water everywhere. And we had those really, really huge like recycling bins and everything. They're like yay big. It took about a minute or two for that bin to get full of water. I just splashed it into the backyard. What else to do? There's water everywhere.
Не было как типа клапан.
Nothing. There was no valve, right? It's called a valve. There was nothing I could find. So what I did, as you know, any panicking girl would do, I just called 911 and I said, "I'm sorry, I don't really know who to call, but I have water everywhere, so please come." And it was really fun because then, about like 5 minutes later, I saw firemen coming in, and I look at them like, you are not exactly the kind of people I would expect in this situation. You know, I have water issue.
Экстренные сантехники, да.
And they actually said, like, relax, man. Like, we have called the water department. They are on their way. So, and actually those brave men stopped the water from running. So then the water department came. But in the US, they are legally not allowed to check anything inside. So they checked everything outside. They said that it was fine, and so they just stopped the water from running. But I still couldn't use, you know, I couldn't use the water, I couldn't use the toilet. So I called my landlord in front of these firemen and water department men, just shouted at my landlord, and they were just making fun of me. There was actually an interesting twist to that situation where I threatened to sue my landlord. And you can hear more on that actually in a podcast episode on domestic difficulties. It was really fun. So yeah, that was the first time when I had to call 911. But I also have the second one. And that one is a bit less dramatic, I would say.
Давай, расскажи.
So one day I was cooking and I had a gas stove. And usually after that, you know how you have like this faint smell of gas? So I had this faint smell of gas, nothing serious. So I thought, okay, that's just after cooking.
Кстати, здесь в России добавляют как типа химикаты в газ.
For it to smell?
Да, чтобы...
I think so. You would be able to, you know, identify when you have too much of gas smell. So, and I thought, okay, everything's fine. You know, it usually just goes away after like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So I cooked my dinner, ate dinner, went to bed. I woke up several hours later feeling extremely nauseous. I was just like, I was feeling so sick and I had, you know, some dizziness. So, and I realized that the smell was still there and it got stronger. I went to the hall, you know, outside of my apartment, no smell. I went inside, very strong smell of gas. So I went outside to the street, called 911 and said, I have a feeling I may have a gas leak because there is a strong smell of gas and I'm feeling really nauseous. 3 minutes. I swear to God, it was 3 minutes. I had three, what do you call their cars?
Fire trucks.
Fire trucks. I had 3 fire trucks, you know, next to my house. And they did say that it was...
Молодцы, что приехали вовремя, да.
Yeah,
это
so...
3 минуты.
3 minutes.
Буквально,
3
да.
minutes. I did live in a small town though, but it was 3 minutes. And they did say that it was a gas leak indeed. So they stopped it. They had to call to some authorities. They checked everything around, but it was only my apartment.
Здесь в России есть как отдельный номер для газа, да? И
We'd call it, in Russia we would call it газовая служба.
Окей. И это какой номер? Как расшифруется?
I don't know.
Дайте нам знать, это очень важный номер. Здесь
it used to be like,
много газа.
So, okay, I'm sorry, I really do not know. Oh God, I have a gas stove, I should know. But it used to be in Russia that now we have like 112. But it used to be different numbers. So, for example, 01 used to be for fire department, 02 police, 03 ambulance, and 04 gas, you know, this sort of gas services. But now it's all different. So it's no longer 0 something, but like 102. I'm not sure. Oh my God, you have to help me on that one. I should learn this number. I have a gas stove at home.
Очень важно, да.
But yeah, so these are my fantastic stories and how I called 911 while being in another country twice.
И ты заметила, что в США пожарные, они работают вместе с скорой помощью?
Well, it's the same thing over here, actually. If you call the police, for example, usually the ambulance would come.
Прям как будет фуры пожарные? Не фура, fire truck. Как будет? Просто...
5 hours later.
Пожарная машина.
Пожарная машина, да. Они тоже как фельдшеры. Пожарные, хотя в Вегасе фельдшеры и пожарные, да.
I didn't know that.
Чтобы устроиться на пожарного, нужно
Well, you have to take a
фельдшером.
test.
Да.
Like, you know, like first aid and everything. I think it's kind of the same thing here. But tell me, have you ever had to call 911 or 999?
Да, в США у меня был... Я жил рядом с каналами для наводнения. Там в Вегасе... Да, flood canals называется. И там есть как система, как подземных, труб и каналы. И там живут много бомжей.
Tunnels?
Да, туннели. И там живут бомжи. И там... Да, я жил...
We should kind of count how many times Benjamin says something about homeless people.
У меня было 2 бомжа или 3, и они хотели...
At homeless people.
Ну, у меня, рядом со мной. У меня нету колонии бомжей. Там был мангал, там в туннеле. И там просто была проблема, и образовался клуб дыма. И прям влетел в мою квартиру этот дым, и я прям не смог дышать. Это было очень опасно для легких, и я позвонил 911, 911, и сразу, да, через 5 минут приехали с огнетушителями. Ну, когда они приехали, дым меньше стал. Да, и они говорили, почему вы позвонили нам? Зачем? Ну, это очень страшно было увидеть столько дыма.
You know, it's actually funny how when you call and they sometimes say, it's not that serious, why did you call? But then if you don't, they're like, why didn't you call? You should have called. But that was the only time when you had to call 911.
Наверное, да, я работал в гостинице в Англии, и там тоже было много бомжей, но это не про бомжей. Это, я помню, что была бабушка, и она попала в обморок. И да, это было очень грустно, и я, конечно, да, вызвал скорую помощь. И это было в вокзале King's Cross, это там, где есть
Platform
платформа.
9 3/4.
Точно, Гарри Поттер.
So if we kind of, before we move on to our next part, what if we kind of make a list on situations in which you might need to call 911? So I have told about a gas leak, burst pipe. It's when, something happens to the pipe, so you have a lot of water. So fire, obviously.
Авария.
So some sort of accidents.
ДТП, да.
Car accident. So basically that's it. In general, if you have any sort of problem with the fire, or any smoke, any accident, you call 911. So Benjamin, you've just told us a story how you had to call an ambulance for a woman in London.
Да, в Лондоне, да.
Have you ever had an experience with calling an ambulance in the US?
Если честно, я не советую вызвать скорую в США, там очень дорого. Я думаю, что может быть вроде 1500, даже больше, чтобы просто вызвать скорую. И там, к сожалению, да, другая система здравоохранения. И, конечно, есть плюсы и минусы, но в этом плане это, да, недостаток очень большой.
Even if you have an insurance, you might end up paying like 1,000 or even more, for calling an ambulance. So never do that. But what do people do instead? So when they need to go to the hospital or to the ER, emergency
Конечно,
room.
зависит от серьезности проблемы. Если это очень чрезвычайный случай, конечно, просто вызвать скорую в вашей жизни. Это ваша жизнь. Это...
As far as I know in the US, if there is a severe car accident and people are on, they're nearly dying, then the ambulance can come. And I'm not sure about the cause, but, this is a problem for future you. But I have had a situation when I had a jaw injury. So I do not know what it's called but I was eating, a burger. And you know how sometimes you kind of open your mouth so wide and my jaw clicked. And it got stuck. I couldn't...
Это была проблема с нижней челюстью.
Yeah. So kind of the muscle. I couldn't close it. And it was so painful. The tears were just running down my cheeks. And you can imagine, I can't talk, I can't close it. Up to this day, actually, I can't eat burgers much because I can't open.
Это просто был размер американского бургера.
All you need to know about the sizes, yeah. So, but what to do? I can't close my mouth. It's painful. So my friends, they understood that I needed a doctor at that moment. So they took me to the ER, which stands for emergency room for such situations. But they took an Uber. Yeah, so we actually took an Uber to the hospital. And in there, I had a conversation with the doctor.
ER это как реанимация.
There is. Well, there are in American system there are two terms: ER, emergency room, and urgent care. I don't still
в Англии
know
у нас
the difference.
A&E, accident and emergency. Это типа реанимация, когда травмы.
Yeah, so some sort of the first point you get to. But yeah, so we had to take an Uber. And then I got an X-ray conversation with a nurse and a pill of Tylenol, and I paid $1,000 for that.
Ужас. И это было...
Well, I didn't pay. Okay, there was insurance.
Там была как касса, там в больнице или
No, never. You never pay in a hospital itself, ever. They always send you a bill. So you never have to pay on site. It's always a bill that you pay
after. И как они проверят твой адрес?
Well, you give them all the necessary, documentation, your ID, your passport, your insurance card, whatever you have on you. And then if you lie, well, I do not know what happens then. but I wouldn't try that, so don't break any laws. But do you have any experience of calling an ambulance in Russia?
Здесь в России, как я сказал раньше, в другое видео, я столкнулся с пьянчугом на улице, и он прям заснул на пешеходном переходе. И да, я вызвал скорую тогда. Ну, если честно, у меня нет опыта скорой помощи здесь.
In general, we can see the difference that in Russia, we can call an ambulance even for less severe, injuries. For example, you have an extremely high fever, like 39.5. You wouldn't be able to walk, to see a doctor. You can call an ambulance.
А ковид, что?
Good point. Actually, with COVID, they used to advise to call an ambulance so that you don't spread it. Because then it's not just any doctor who comes. They have, the full...
Спецодежда, да?
Yeah.
Flow going viral, you best stay strapped with that Lysol and get way back, get that pine sol and that age.
What would you call that in English, though?
Biohazard suits. Да, biohazard
Don't
suits.
like the way it sounds,
Yeah,
though.
очень страшное название,
But yeah.
да.
I have had only positive experience with ambulance over here. I actually once had to call an ambulance because I was in so much pain. And they usually come within like
Это
half an
была
hour.
высокая температура.
No, I was just I had a lot of severe abdominal pain.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of terrified that it might be appendicitis or something. It was a very lovely day when I had to spend the 31st of December in a hospital.
Ужас.
0 out of 10, do not recommend. There were no doctors over there. But in general, in Russia, you can call an ambulance. Don't be afraid. Yeah, you wouldn't be afraid
Да, и
of
тоже
pain.
в Англии, да, тоже в Англии. Ну, если у тебя высокая температура, не советую вызвать скорую. Ну, если вы, например, на скейтборде.
Just broke your leg or something like that. You can
Конечно, это, да.
Well, joke's on you. People in the US have been taking an Uber, with a broken leg or something. Because it's cheaper to pay for, for the services to get your car, to get a taxi car cleaned or something, than to pay for the ambulance. So, yeah. But again, just as we said in the first part of this video, let's hope you don't really have to call an ambulance, guys. So stay safe.
Так, Катя, кем бы ты хотела быть? Полицейский, пожарный или фельдшер?
None of those.
Yes.
No, thank you. No, honestly, I wouldn't like to be any of those. Why? So, to be a firefighter, you have to be physically extremely strong, and you have this heavy, what would you call it actually? Not a suit.
Не жилет, ты имеешь в виду.
But the whole of that.
Просто спецодежды, оборудование.
And I just know I'm not really cut out for that.
И пожарный, как будет пожарный рукав, да?
Yeah, so with
да.
that too. I'm just not cut out for that type of, job. With a policeman, hell no. Medical workers, the same thing. Why? Because you have to deal with broken legs, crime scenes. And then when you're a policeman, you have to deal with the scenes of homicide, dead bodies, post-mortem poison or ptomaine, maggots. And no, I don't want to deal with any of that. I'm not built for that.
Я бы хотел быть полицейским. Это было бы очень круто. Иметь оружие и сирены на машине.
You do know it's not limited to that though, right? Major Walker. So guys, if you had to choose between, being a policeman, a medical worker, or a firefighter, what would you choose? Would you choose any, or are you, like me? So let us know in the comments.
Так, ребята, это все для сегодня. Мы надеемся, что вам понравилось это видео. И ставьте лайк, напишите в комментариях и подпишитесь на наш канал.
And remember that apart from our YouTube channel, we also have a Telegram chat, we have a VK community, and we have, of course, our beautiful website where you can find absolutely everything. Articles, videos, and of course, our amazing podcast. And a little secret, we also have a special chat which you can join if you become a patron. Over there, you will be able to chat with us, see some extra materials and extra videos and audio, so make sure to check it out. So that was all for today. That was Katya.
I'm Benjamin.
See you around.
See you guys.